Okay, you guys, listen up, because what just went down in Atlanta got the entire Bayhive buzzing like never before. Beyonce's crew didn't just get hit, they got targeted in what's being called a major robbery. And this wasn't some random car break-in. We're talking serious high-stakes stuff. Unreleased tracks, secret set lists, tour footage, and even luxury gear. Gone. This all went down on July 8th. Two of Bay's trusted insiders, longtime choreographer Christopher Grant and dancer DeAndre Blue, were in Atlanta driving a rented Jeep Wagoneer. They parked it in a garage near Crow Street Market, probably thinking nothing of it. But when they came back, the back window was completely smashed in, and two entire suitcases were straight up missing. Now here's where things get wild. Inside those bags, hard drives and flash drives with allegedly unreleased Beyonce music, rehearsal footage, and even tour plans for her Atlanta stops. Not to mention the fancy stuff, designer sunglasses, laptops, AirPods, and more expensive gear. But it's that music content that has fans totally freaking out. These files were exclusive, watermarked, and never supposed to leak. This could have messed up her entire tour rollout. The Atlanta police jumped on it fast and the case is still hot. But here's what they uncovered so far. They tracked the stolen AirPods using the Find My feature, and it actually led them to a possible suspect's location. They pulled over a red 2025 Hyundai Elantra. That's the car they think might be tied to the whole thing. No one's been arrested yet, but the cops did collect fingerprints and are going over the surveillance footage from the garage. One person's already been questioned, but so far, crickets, no official charges, and now everyone's asking the big question, why was all that top secret content just chilling in the back of a rental SUV? People online are calling it sloppy. Folks are dragging them for not putting that stuff in a hotel safe or locking it down tighter. Just leaving it out like that in Atlanta? That's wild. But look, when you're on tour, always on the move, things slip through the cracks. Still, this was a major misstep. Hopefully someone's taking notes because this was way too risky. Even the Atlanta police chimed in, using the moment to push their clean car campaign. Basically, they're saying, don't leave anything in your ride, not even if it's hidden, because clearly folks are watching, waiting for an easy target. Now the big question is, what happens next? Is that unreleased music gonna leak? Are we about to get a surprise drop? Or will they catch the thief and shut it all down before it hits Reddit or X, Twitter? One thing's for sure. This break-in just might have set off a storm Beyonce never signed off on. And let's be real, what do you think Beyonce said when she found out? Was she mad at the crew? Mad at the whole mess? Knowing how locked in and perfection focused she is, you know she was fuming. Nobody even knows what was on those drives. And that's the scary part. But honestly, I can't even act shocked. This is Atlanta we're talking about. It's known for this kind of stuff, breaking windows and running off with your things. So it blows my mind they were this laid back about it. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this situation is straight up wild. Alright, here's the next one, and it's a heavy one. Social media is going crazy right now over some serious allegations involving Chrisean and her baby. And yeah, it's another twist in a long list of drama. But this time, it's hitting way different. What's being said online is honestly heartbreaking. Now, I'm not showing the actual documents for legal reasons, but I can break down exactly what people are claiming is in them. This week, a bunch of screenshots started blowing up on Twitter and TikTok, and they allegedly show what looks like medical records connected to Chrisean Jr. Again, we don't know if these are legit or not, but the conversations are everywhere. According to these alleged documents, the baby reportedly tested positive at birth for opioids, cocaine, and alcohol. On top of that, they list some pretty serious conditions: neonatal abstinence, seizure disorder, spasticity, and something called cortical visual impairment, which affects how the brain processes what the eyes see. That's not minor, it's deep, and it's got people shook. And again, this is all still alleged. The files also claim the baby is currently being seen by several different medical specialists: neurology, cardiology, orthopedics, and possibly even more. That's a lot of care for a newborn. Now here's the part that's really got folks talking. One section supposedly says the mother, again allegedly Chrisean, admitted to using both cocaine and alcohol regularly during the pregnancy. That's what those screenshots are saying, and people are reacting hard to it. Let's be clear, none of this has been officially confirmed, but if even a piece of this is true, it's heartbreaking, and the internet is not staying quiet. So here's where it gets even messier. The screenshots causing all this drama were first posted by an account going by the name King K's. But here's the twist. I went to check out the page myself and it's gone. Poof. Whether it got taken down, flagged, or deleted by the user, nobody knows for sure, but the damage was already done. Because the claims they made? Explosive. The account didn't hold back at all. They straight up accused Chrisean, her team, and even Blueface of lying to the public about the baby's health. According to them, the public was led to believe everything was fine, when in reality the baby's been dealing with a lot. They even came for anyone defending her, saying the proof is in the child. It was harsh, and people were divided. Let me be very clear. None of this is confirmed. It's all alleged. I don't know how those supposed records were even obtained, and I'm not here to say whether they're real or fake. But what's real is how fast this story is spreading. TikTok, Reddit, Twitter, everywhere you look, people are talking. Some folks are believing every word. Others are saying it's just another smear campaign trying to drag her name. But no matter where you stand, this thing has picked up serious traction, and eyes are glued to every update. Now here's something I had to dig into myself, because my first thought was, if all of that really showed up in the baby's system, why wasn't he taken from her right away? But turns out it's not as simple as that. It's not just black and white. If those claims are true, and the baby really had multiple substances in his system, and Chrisean allegedly admitted to using during the pregnancy, then yeah, CPS or child welfare would step in. Hospitals are required by law to report that kind of thing, especially when it involves more than one substance. But here's the key part that caught me off guard. Just because a hospital files a report with Child Protective Services doesn't mean the baby is snatched away right then and there. I didn't even know that. So here's how it usually goes down. If a newborn tests positive for drugs or alcohol, the hospital is legally required to alert CPS, no question about it. Then CPS steps in to evaluate everything. Is the baby being taken care of? Is the home safe? Does the parent have a support system? Are they getting treatment or at least trying to do better? If the risk is high, they can absolutely remove the child, at least temporarily. Sometimes they'll assign a caseworker to do regular check-ins. Other times they'll require parenting classes, court-ordered rehab, or drug testing. But if the parent cooperates and meets the conditions they set, the child can stay at home, even if drugs were found in their system at birth. So if these allegations about Chrisean are true, and she's showing she's putting in the effort, then technically she could still keep custody without breaking any rules. Now let me circle back. Everything here is alleged. Nobody knows where these files came from, and nobody has confirmed if they're even real. But I want to keep it fair too. A lot of folks are dragging Chrisean, saying she's not doing enough for the baby, or accusing her of flat out ignoring the situation. Now, do I personally believe she's getting her son the help he might need? I honestly can't say. But truth be told, she doesn't owe the internet any explanation. Should she be making sure her child is getting the right care? Absolutely. But does she have to come online and prove it to strangers? No. She owes the public nothing. Still, I really hope she is getting that baby the help he deserves. Because after reading some of those documents floating around on TikTok and Twitter, my jaw hit the floor. I'm praying it's not real. I'm hoping those screenshots are fake or taken out of context. But what do you think? If you've seen those posts, do you believe what they're saying? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this whole situation is intense. And don't forget to subscribe. That's all I have for today.
Okay, who's out here breaking HIPAA laws? Apparently, there's some medical records of Chrisean and her baby floating around, and I don't know if it's true. This is all alleged, but I'm just gonna share what I learned. Maybe, allegedly. So it says that the baby suffers from fetal alcohol syndrome and neonatal abstinence syndrome. So neonatal abstinence syndrome is basically the baby is withdrawing from opioids, some sort of drugs, but they're thinking either opioids or cocaine in this case. And allegedly, but he also allegedly suffers from spasticity, which is like a neurological disorder that makes it hard for people or babies to move their limbs. He also suffers from seizure disorder and CVI. Now, CVI is cortical visual impairment, which is just it means that a part of his brain has been damaged, the part of his brain that controls his vision. So he has blindness. Like, a lot of people, I've heard people say this, but I just didn't believe it. But oh my God. It also says that he should be in palliative care. Now, I work in hospice, and a lot of people they believe that palliative care and hospice is interchangeable, but it's not. Palliative care kind of focuses more on prolonging the life of the child or person in general. But in this case, if he should be on palliative care, he's got a very serious medical condition, and he ain't gonna she needs to be taking care of him. How, as a mother, do you know these diagnoses, or do you know any of this information about your son, and not help him in any way? Continue to live the same lifestyle that you lived before you had him. When you become a mother or father, but in this case, we're talking about mothers. When you become a mother, your life changes. You need to change, to adapt, to make sure that you are putting your child above yourself. Especially someone who has the serious medical issues that Junior has. Pathetic. She's pathetic. But all of these things are incredibly serious. I have literally no words. Chrisean disgusts me.
So allegedly, Chrisean Jr.'s medical records been leaked. I don't know how true it is, but it's saying that he got all type of stuff and how she was being neglectful. But my thing is, if the doctors test the babies after they were born and they see that something, like if she was doing substances or something, she would have had to suffer the consequences. So I'm not sure if everything is true or not, but whoever did leak that is about to face some serious charges because the HIPAA laws. Like, why would y'all leak that anyway?
So apparently somebody that leaked Chrisean and Jr.'s medical records from when he was born, listing the list of issues that he had. One of the issues being alcohol fetal syndrome, another one dealing with his ophthalmology, dealing with his sight, something else dealing with pulmonary, dealing with his lungs. I'm gonna tell y'all like this, there's so much fake news going on right now. I'm going to take this with a grain of salt, even though the person who posted it tagged Blueface and Carlissa in it. Also proving that she didn't take no prenatal vitamins when she was pregnant. Listen, y'all, when you have a baby, there are so many tests that are performed during, after your labor, right? So if the doctors found something that could have been a cause due to the neglect of the mother, she would have had some type of consequence. Chrisean suffered no consequence, which is why I take this so-called news with a grain of salt. But we all know something going on. So I don't know if the hospital that she had the baby at, it is a well-known hospital for celebrities, and they do tend to cover shit up. But I'm pretty sure nobody not about to risk losing their license, misdiagnosing a child who's clearly having all of these difficulties and developmental delays. They're not gonna write something like, oh, the baby is healthy, when the baby not healthy. Like, I don't know what's going on. Maybe they had advised her to get the baby certain kind of help, and they probably worded it on the paperwork as if it was natural causes and not due to the neglect of the mama. I don't know. Who the fuck knows? All I know is there's a story going around showing fake or true diagnosis and records from the baby. I don't know. But I'm going to look more into it, y'all. I'll come back if they...
So there's been some medical documents that have been released that people are saying are the medical documents of Junior, Chrisean's son. I'm going to tell you where to go to watch this on YT in a minute. So I don't know if these are actually Junior's medical records, but I will say that the medical records appear to have been written by a medical professional, just the terminology that was used and stuff. Okay? I do believe there's somebody's medical records. All right. Now, the one thing that makes me a little leery about it is it says that the mother admitted to prenatal substance abuse, and it listed some substances that she admitted to. I just find it hard to believe that Chrisean would ever even admit that.